Mary Crawford. I've been on the board of Rare Book School for the last 9 years, the first 6 years as the head of audit, and the last 3 as the treasurer.
I'm Bruce Crawford. I'm a student of Rare Book School, and I'm a collector of rare books and manuscripts.
We first became involved in Rare Book School through our collecting interests and by understanding from the ex-president Bill Bice just how wonderful Rare Book School was and how much even a collector of many decades had learned.
And we also came to know Michael Suarez, who's an absolutely wonderful individual and has been, in my opinion, really a terrific leader of Rare Book School.
Rare Book School has really changed my life because I was working as a financial person for 3.5 decades. I was working many, many, many hours. And when I joined Rare Book School, I really didn't have a lot of hours to be able to give. But where it's changed my life is the mission is so critical that I found that I was willing to put in the extra hours if it meant that I got 2-3 hours of sleep at night. And I have been so rewarded by friendships, by seeing the incredible success that Rare Book School has had over the last decade, by seeing how it affects so many of our teachers and the people who will be leading bibliography into the next century.
I think that the friendships are really important. And I have a selfish reason as well, and that is that I've been cataloging our library for quite a number of years, and it's made me a much better cataloger. I don't have the skills that a scholar or a librarian might, but it certainly helped me, the school has, pay a whole lot more and better attention to being a better cataloger and a better recorder of what we have in our library.
I have come from a for-profit world, a world where there's often a lot of competition between people. And here, I do not feel that. I feel that people are really focused on the same outcome, and that outcome is really excellence. And to work with a staff that many have PhDs, they are so smart, so driven, and so committed, has been really, really wonderful. One of my memories is in talking to a couple of the long-term senior staff members in the early years when Michael had come, and having 2 people independently say to me, I've worked for 2 geniuses. I've worked for Terry, I've worked for Michael. They are completely different, but they are both geniuses, and I love them both. I found Terry Bellinger to be such a wonderful teacher because he would quietly and carefully lean over an illustration and just share with you what he saw that I had never seen. I could look at that illustration, and without his prompting, without his just kind of whispering in your ear and saying, did you see this? Do you see that? And that to me was such incredibly effective one-on-one teaching.
Terry had several examples of mezzotints, which is, as many of you know, is a kind of illustration that appears in the 19th century, but not all that frequently. And it was wonderful to be able to see those several different examples and have him explain the technique that was used to create them. He's really, really beyond solid in terms of content. I have a couple of thoughts about how Rare Book School has evolved over the years, and it's done beautifully in terms of more content, more courses, and it's also diversified the locations in which it offers those courses, which I think is incredibly important. It's diversified its board, and it's also invited students to attend courses who come to Rare Book School from all different angles. Collectors, dealers, people involved in auctions come, scholars, librarians, academics, makers of books, and all of these people together, in addition to separately, really enhance the world of scholarship around books and bibliography.
Since I became involved with Rare Book School in 2013 on the board, it has changed so tremendously. Again, I came in as audit, so I was down in the deep, and we had maybe 5 or 6 employees that grew to 10, that grew to 12. In that time, Rare Book School's course offerings have more than doubled. We've started the virtual offerings, which was a requirement. It was a way of turning around and being quick with the pandemic. But probably most important was Michael's vision of seeding the academy, of not only teaching librarians, but of teaching academics about bibliography so that they would seek that out, and then turning around and inspiring institutions like the Mellon Foundation, like National Endowment, to fund those expansions of the definition of bibliography within our academic world.
Books are not covers and spines. They have wonderful content. They're voices between the writer and the reader. And those voices were created at a certain period of time with a certain technique. And those techniques were complicated, particularly during the hand press period. And to know how an object was actually brought together with those voices for the reader, assembled, printed, assembled, folded, bound, and then to come to understand where that book has been since it was created, provenance, who the owners of it were, how it was transformed, was it extra illustrated, were there things added to it. Notes in the margin are incredibly important, and all of these things figure deeply into Rare Book School's vision of what's important about books and works on paper. Mary and I are donors to Rare Book School, and I think that's really important because I think that you have to support institutions like Rare Book School in more than one way. I think you have to be inspirational, and you have to be excited, and you have to infect people with that excitement. I think you have to participate, you have to take courses, but you also have to back it up with some funds as you are able. And that's important, and it matters. It matters to Rare Book School, and it will continue to matter, and I'm proud to be a donor.
Rare Book School has changed so much over the years. One of the best publications to really try to understand what Rare Book School is the annual report. The annual report for 2021 has recently come out. It is the best that's ever been there. I will say, as auditor for 6 years and as the treasurer, I crawl over the finances of Rare Book School. We are sound. We use every nickel very, very carefully. Bruce and I are donors to Rare Book School because we believe in it. If others believe in this mission, I can tell you, as a 40-year financial professional, and as now being involved on the board for the last 9 in a financial way, that if you have money to give, this is an organization that will use it and will use it wisely.